Hey everyone, welcome to another Reality Skewed Gamers video. My name is Finity, and as you see, we'll be doing a Clash of Clans video today. I'm starting a new video series that I'm calling Finity's ADD Gaming, which is essentially because I like switching around games a little bit. Some games I'm playing longer than others, so I'm still playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and another game that I've been playing for quite a while is Clash of Clans. And in Clash of Clans, you may know me as Kid311. So what I'm going to do now is try and do some videos about Clash of Clans. I am an expert by no means, but I am a person that likes to play the game, try to analyze it, try to figure out the best strategies. They don't always work. So what I want to do is make videos not only about 3-star attacks, but also about how you can make mistakes on some of these attacks and they can go terribly wrong, and how you can sometimes be overpowered a little bit in terms of your troops versus the enemy troops, and how you can kind of accommodate your attack. So today what I'm going to be going over is the Valkyrie Bowler combination for attacks. If you look down below, down over on this side, let me point this way here. So down underneath the map, you'll see that I have a list of the squad that I use to attack this base. This particular base I 3-starred, so you'll see it in the bottom right corner of the image there, how I 3-starred this one. I'll go through my strategy on this one, how I use similar strategies on some of a couple other bases. One of them I actually missed out on all-stars, and another one I got a 2-star on. So it's to show you kind of how the same attack can kind of vary based on what base you're attacking. So, looking at this particular base, what you're looking at is what's pretty much a standard ring type base. So what you'll see is that there is this little core right in the middle here, where all of your town hall and you have your crossbows and your inferno towers, they're all pretty much right there in the middle. And around it, you have kind of this donut ring shape. And all of this is where you have a lot of your other defenses. And so what you have to try and do is avoid kind of the general mistake that happens a lot, which is that you're attacking here and your troops kind of continue to go around the outside, and they never really intrude upon the middle, and in the meantime, these crossbows are basically just sniping all of your guys out. So what's important is that you try and find a way to get directly into the base. And so what you want to do at that point is somehow clear a path so you can get straight down to this town hall. Once you eliminate kind of the center core in the ring, you will have a much better chance of actually 3-starring this base. At a very minimum, you'll be getting a 2-star. So what's important is that you understand kind of how this base is designed and why it works the way it does. Okay, so let's go to what my strategy initially is, which is that, and you'll kind of see some stuff coming up on the screen. I'm going to be drawing and changing colors a little bit, so you may see some different things on the screen here. So what I want to start off by doing is, while you can't see it directly here, there is this radius for the clan castle. Now the clan castle is pretty important for this type of attack, because if you look at what the different troops are that I'm going to be using in this attack, there's not too many aerial assault ones. Some of the more common troops right now that are in the castles are dragons and baby dragons and balloons, so you definitely need to make sure that you have aerial assault based characters, meaning that they can attack air troops. When you're looking at a base, you need to make sure you look at what the clan castle radius is. And so within this radius, you can see that there are a lot of different defenses on the outside. The reason I mentioned the defenses, one of the best troops to use to pull a castle is a giant, because a giant only costs 5 troops, or 5 army spots, and they have a lot of hit points. So by the time that a giant can get to, for example, this air sweeper, which is the target that I chose in my attack, there's a lot of time where he'll just be pulling everything from this castle, and there's only a minimal amount of things that are attacking him. So if you look, there's going to be the mortar tower, there's going to be the archer tower, there's not too many other things that are actually going to be attacking him. So it's important that you look at the clan castle for this type of attack and figure out what defenses are in range. Sometimes people set it up so that the clan castle is much deeper inside. It changes the strategy a little bit, so you'll want to make sure you kind of accommodate for that. But for this particular attack, what I did was release a giant, so I'll use a little brown color here, and I went directly at this air sweeper with my giant. Now, why did I go towards the air sweeper here? What you want to always make sure that you're doing is going for a funnel. So I'll bring back this little strategy diagram here, but let me clear this up. What I want to ultimately do with this strategy is to clear out this area right here and clear out this area right here. After clearing those out, I'll be left with a direct path straight down the middle here. So in order to get rid of this corner, what I'm going to be using is my Archer Queen. So my Archer Queen is going to be used to start and clear out this area, and up here I'm going to use my Barbarian King. So I'm using my heroes to help clear these corners out, and then going to use my troops to go right down the middle. With a queen, one of the best things you can do is start the Queen's Walk. And to do a Queen's Walk, you also need 4 healers. Now, I apologize for my handwriting on here, because I'm using a mouse to actually write here, but hopefully you can read that is 4 healers. So, I'm going to use 4 healers and an Archer Queen over here to help clear out this corner. And the Barbarian King can more or less do everything here by himself. I'm going to supplement it with a few wizards just to kind of help clear it, just to help kind of speed it up a little bit. But the Barbarian King is pretty good by himself. The benefit of the Archer Queen, though, she attacks air units. So, by going back to the other diagram now, when I release the giant at this air sweeper, what's going to happen is that the troops are going to come and kill the giant, and at the same time I'm going to have my AQ here. So my Archer Queen is going to be starting here with 4 healers, and this combination is going to now start to take out the actual castle troops. So I expect the castle troops to come roughly about here when the Archer Queen is going to start attacking them. What I want to do, though, is give my Archer Queen and my healers an advantage over the troops. If you just leave the Archer Queen to fend for herself, and there's some balloons and there's a dragon in here, you're going to run into some issues. So what you want to do is use those 2 poisons that you see I have prepared. You want to use the 2 poisons and place them right in the path of where the dragons will be coming. So you want to place them roughly here. So this is where you want to place your 2 poisons. So try to type it here. Poi, good enough. So you want to put your poisons here, so it not only slows down their speed so that the Archer Queen can attack them before they really come into range and attacking, but it also slows down their attack speed and they take damage. The other thing you can also do is in that general area of the Queen, you put a rage spell. And by putting a rage spell there, you're going to increase the damage of the Archer Queen, but you're also going to increase the speed and effectiveness of the healing of the healers on the Archer Queen. So now the Archer Queen is going to be able to heal up a lot faster, the Archer Queen is going to be doing more damage, the troops are going to be attacking slower. You've now created yourself an advantage, and you can take out this entire corner. So, once you get rid of that corner, then you can go ahead and start with the other side. So when you start off with the other side, you can start off with your Barbarian King, going on over here, have him targeted right around here and here, right? So he can go, keep him on the inside here so he can travel from this one to this one and then work down and start to clear these out. Okay? Once you have that going, once you have these cleared, you can then release your Golem. So, what's the purpose of releasing the Golem? When you release the Golem, it's going to go towards one of these defenses. So it's either going to go towards the Archer Tower or it's going to go towards the cannon. What you want to do though is make sure that you look at where all of these defenses are and what are the different things attacking it. In this particular base, this mortar tower over here, or mortar cannon, is going to be attacking the Barbarian King. This one is the one that you want to make sure you trigger. It's probably going to be attacking the Archer Queen anyways, but it may be that the Archer Queen gets too close into range and then it doesn't have any other targets. So why you want the Golem to draw all the fire is that you need to release wall breakers to come and hit right here in order to open that path. So you need to make sure that the Golem is drawing fire from the Archer Tower, from the Wizard Tower, from the Cannon, from the Archer Tower. So this area needs to be focused on the Golem itself. Once you do the wall breakers, this area will be clear, the left corner will be clear, the top corner will be clear. You can release all of your other troops here. In addition to that, you want to make sure you have a jump spell that will target the middle section. So you want a jump spell that'll fall right here so that when the troops finish clearing out this area, they'll be able to jump immediately and go straight to the crossbow. Now, you'll see that I also have a heal spell and a rage spell and one freeze spell. Now, with the freeze spell, what you want to make sure you do is save it for the back Inferno. Towards the front Inferno, you can use a rage spell, and the rage spell will help you get to this Inferno quicker and help you take these things out. So you want to save the rage for the front end in order to help speed up the kill on this. It's going to take a little bit longer to get to this back one, so for the back Inferno Tower, you want to use the freeze spell. And with a particular free spell, you could get both of these different crossbows also. So a free spell here can be really effective in giving your bowlers a chance to kind of do the extra damage, to get your Valkyries to break through the walls. But once you kind of get the path set up for your troops to work through the middle here, clear out this section, take the jump spell, and then move into the middle, you'll now be able to clear out this entire area. Your queen, in the meantime, will continue walking with the archer, with the healers, and be able to clear out this area, and then work down here to start clearing out this defense. So your archer queen is basically going to start clearing out this side. In the meantime, on the north side, you'll see that the Barbarian King is actually going to be distracting all of these different defenses as he moves along down here. And your Golem is going to be distracting some in the middle, so your bowlers will be able to take out all of these different defenses as you move along. Okay, so that's the basic premise of this attack. Is that you want to try and create a funnel using your Barbarian King and your Archer Queen. So if I was to just make a little diagram here just to kind of show you how this is going to be laid out, what you want to do is try and think of this as 3 different lanes. So let me here see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'm making a few lanes here. Okay, so what you want to think about it is in 3 different lanes. So this middle lane is the one where you want the majority of your troops to go. You want them to start clearing out this area and trying to do as much damage as possible. And this is where you want the majority of your troops. Then you have to figure out how you want to get rid of these 2 side lanes. Do you want to, which one has more defenses, which one is going to need more help? So if you look at the comparison here, you'll see that the bottom side has a bit more defenses, maybe not as clumped up, but this left side is closer to the clan castle. The clan castle can be pulled easier, which is also a speed factor because you don't want the clan castle troops like a dragon, which is pretty slow, to have to travel across the map to get to your Archer Queen. And the defenses here are relatively spaced out enough that your Archer Queen should be fine. On the top side, your Barbarian King should be able to clear out a lot of things, and now you've created this lane. Okay, so that's the basic premise of this attack. I'll go ahead and start the video now so you guys can see what the attack actually looked like when it played out. Alright, so what you just saw was actually a good attack. It kind of went according to plans. But, like Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So, what I'm going to show you now is one of my major fails. This was an attack that actually resulted in 0 stars because I made a lot of mistakes in this. They're fairly easy mistakes to make if you're not careful, so what I want to do is go over what the initial plan was, and then what happened afterwards. So, if you look at what this base is set up like, it looks very similar to what we were discussing in the previous video. So you have this little core here, which has the expos, which has the infernos. You have all of the defenses kind of around it, so it might not be the exact same ring format, but it's pretty much that same kind of ringish look. And so what you want to do is make sure that your troops don't end up following around in this outer ring and then get left out of the middle. So, what my initial plan was again, as I had mentioned in the previous kind of explanation, is to divide this up into 3 lanes. And these walls here with the camps make a good lane separation here. So the initial idea was to use the Archer Queen in order to kind of work through this bottom part. So you have the Archer Queen working down, and then you have the Barbarian King up here. And so this was the general premise about what we were going to try and do. The Archer Queen was going to clear this out, and then slowly work down here along the outside and clear out a lot of these defenses. Similarly, the Barbarian King, I was going to have kind of entering in at this point and use a couple of wall breakers to actually break into the wall over right around here. So I was going to use 2 of the wall breakers to help break in here, a few wizards behind the Barbarian King in order to help kind of destroy some of the defenses that are right along the edge here, and also clear up some of these ones a little bit quicker. So that was my idea in order to break through the lane, and then everything else kind of break through down the middle. So roughly the same general concept. So now we have this lane that would go straight down here. Use wall breakers in order to kind of break up at the beginning up here. So some wall breakers to break in right here. Then we would use a jump spell in order to break in, to do a jump right here. And then a rage on the front side. And then obviously, like I mentioned before, you put a freeze on the back side here. You might be able to catch this expo. You'll definitely be able to catch the one over at the bottom here next to the Inferno Tower. Use a rage as you need. So this was the initial plan. However, it went horribly, horribly wrong. So if you look at the overall base design, you'll see that the clan castle is actually a little bit deeper this time. So its range was roughly around here. So you would be able to target using this wizard tower in order to pull the castle. But the castle, obviously, it's inside of this wall, so a giant may not be the best use. So in this particular case, I ended up using riders. My problem was I used 1 rider. Now, I mentioned the importance of this in the last, before the last attack. It's really important that you pull out this castle. So I can tell you ahead of time that this castle has 1 baby dragon and 5 balloons. Riders don't have as many hit points as the giants, so by the time the rider came within this wall and actually attacked this wizard tower, he only managed to pull the 5 balloons. So inside of this castle was still the baby dragon. That became a major mistake. Now, I knew that there was a baby dragon in here from the previous attacks on other castles. So some of my clanmates had attacked some of the other bases, and I was able to see that what their castle compositions were. So I knew that there was going to be a baby dragon, and when I saw that the baby dragon didn't get pulled, I knew I was going to be in trouble. So after that point, I had to try and change plans kind of midstream. I was going to hold my wizards, try and get my wizards in behind here. I was going to drop this top lane with my Barbarian King and send in my Barbarian King down the middle. I was thinking to myself, in kind of that short 3-minute span where you have to attack, okay, I think I can recover from this. So we had the 5 balloons that were sitting over here. And so once the balloons were sitting there, I said, okay, balloons are here. You got 5 of them because my rider had died. So I said, okay, let me release my Archer Queen here. Put the 4 healers behind her. Let's clear out the balloons, and then we can figure out what it is. So the Archer Queen was targeted this army camp and then was going to work down her way over here. So roughly the point of contact with the balloons was going to be somewhere right around here. So what was I supposed to do? Release the poisons right in that area. What did I not do? Release the poisons in that area. So the poisons would ideally be right here and right here. And as the balloons came in, they would be slowed down, they would take some damage, and the Archer Queen would be able to kill them before the balloons came overhead. And when the balloons die, they do a lot of AoE damage to everything underneath them. I forgot to put my poison spells quick enough. So I ended up putting the poison spells here, but the balloons were way too close. The Archer Queen was actually right up along the edge of the wall. So the Archer Queen was right here, almost inside of the range of the poisons. And when the balloons started dropping, my Archer Queen couldn't stay up. So my Archer Queen died before all of the balloons died. And this became the second mistake. So to kind of mark them a little bit here, my first mistake was only 1 rider. That was not enough to pull the castle. If you don't know what's in the castle, you're always better off using 2. So this was kind of a hard lesson learned for me. Make sure you always pull this castle. And if you don't know what's in the castle, be safer than sorry, because it can definitely mess up your attack. The next thing is to make sure that you have the poisons ready to go. And so because of these 2 major mistakes, my attack basically got destroyed. After that, it was all kind of a recovery. Nothing else really worked the way I wanted it to. And so you'll see that when I show you the video, how everything got messed up, because then the baby dragon started attacking all of the different land troops that I have, which were the Valks and the bowlers. The balloons came by and started clearing out the middle, and nothing went the way it was supposed to. Okay, so key thing to remember when you're watching this, and you'll be able to see the mistakes pretty clearly. The first one, pull this castle. This castle must be fully pulled. Make sure you know what is in the castle. Now, if there's only land troops, you may be able to get away with it because the Valkyries and the bowlers can get rid of it. It's not too common now that you see only land troops. Most of the time, there's going to be some form of a dragon, whether it's the full dragon or the baby dragon. Usually some balloons. Whatever the situation is, you have to pull this castle. And then make sure that you keep these troops away from the poison, or away from the Archer Queen with the poison, so the Archer Queen can kill them before they come in range. The balloons go down fairly quickly against the Archer Queen. You could always use her ability and rage a little bit in order to help you take those out. But it's usually not necessary. The key thing is to make sure that you kill them. And you can use a rage spell rather than the rage ability of the Archer Queen in order to kind of kill those out. Okay? So let's watch my major fail here in my 0-star attack against this base, and make sure you please pay attention to the mistakes that I made so you don't end up making the same ones again. Alright, I hope you enjoyed watching me fail miserably on that last one. Again, I'm showing you kind of all of the different types of attacks, whether it was a 3-star to begin with or a 0-star just now, so you can see the mistakes. Not every attack always goes as planned, and sometimes you have to plan a little bit differently based on what's going on in your war. So what I'm going to show you next is my 2-star attack. And the reason I'm showing a 2-star attack this time is because it's a little bit of it's a ring still, but it's a little bit of a different ring kind of format. And during our last clan war, we were in a position where we really needed just a 2-star. This was a base that may be a little bit difficult for me personally to 3-star. One thing you have to be always conscious about is how high your troops are. My king and queen are level 21 right now, so they're not like a top high level tier 10 or a town hall 10 level hero. And a lot of times in the town hall 10 attacks, you always want to make sure that you have like the really high level heroes. Those really seem to make a big difference because it lets your king and queen kind of take over some of the entire sides rather than just needing some support and being kind of that extra attacker. So when looking at this base, my goal was a 2-star because that is what we needed during our war. And so my focus was trying to figure out how do I get the 50% for the 1st star and get to the town hall. And if you go back to the same kind of general layout that we've been talking about, again, I'm dividing this into 3 different lanes. So the first lane is along this wall. Let me finish this line here. The second lane is against this wall. And what you'll notice here is actually a little bit different. This clan castle is really far in. And it's really hard to kind of pull this from anything. The edges were kind of along this area. There may have been a way to pull it from another side here, but it's fairly difficult to get a good pull on this castle. But with this base design being as spread out as it was, the thing that really helped was that all of these defenses are so spread out that actually right here there is actually a gap in the base, which would allow me to drop troops right next to the castle. This is the same war that you just saw with the 0-star, so I knew that in this castle were balloons and the baby dragon. So I knew I needed some extra time in order to pull this castle. Again, I really wanted to make sure I got a 2-star on this. It would be nice if I could get a 3-star, but my focus was making sure we could get the 2. And because I wanted to make sure I pulled this castle, even though I could drop a giant here, which would last longer than the rider, like in the previous attack, I still used 2 of the giants. So if you make sure that you look kind of down over there, I'm updating the squad all the time as we finish each of the different attacks. So you'll see that I have 2 giants that I used first, and those 2 giants were used to pull this castle. After I pulled the castle, I then used my archer queen. Now, normally I've had the archer queen on the close side, and I send the barbarian king on the other side. In this particular case, I reversed it because there's not as many defenses on this top side. So if you see, there's a wizard tower, a cannon. My archer queen has a much better chance of survival on this side compared to the other side. So I release my archer queen over here. And my archer queen along with 4 healers. And so, actually, let me make that a different type of pink so we can actually see it better this time. So it's the healers. There we go. Okay. So we have the 4 healers with my archer queen, and I release them here. And same general concept as what we were discussing in the last, in all of the other videos so far, which is that we want to make sure that we're getting these troops out of the way before they actually make it to the queen. So this time I actually make sure to drop my poisons here. And you'll see how the balloons drop even before they reach the archer queen. These poisons plus the balloons traveling through there makes it really difficult for the balloons to even survive. You can use a rage that encompasses both the healers and the Archer Queen in order to speed up the damage of the Archer Queen and speed up the healer's healing. Now, I did make a mistake here, which may have gotten me some extra percentage and a little closer to a 3-star. And this is a mistake that wasn't really necessarily deadly because I did attack a side without as many defenses. But it's something you want to always be cautious about. When you're attacking, sometimes you speed and you try to get through these things really fast because sometimes 3 minutes seems like it's not enough time. And when you're doing stuff at the edge of the map, like you are in this particular one, so let me remove these really quick. Where you're releasing the Archer Queen and where you're releasing the healers is really on the edge of this map. And so I released the Archer Queen here, I released the healers right behind her, and while I was tapping to release the healers, I guess I was off the map and I only released 2 of the healers. So you'll see that for some reason I have 2 healers kind of sitting in my army, and that wasn't intended at all. I really meant to release all 4 of the healers on the Archer Queen. The 2 healers did a great job kind of keeping my Archer Queen up until I realized my mistake. There was a little bit of extra damage that the Archer Queen took that probably could have been healed up with the 4 and maybe changed a little bit of a dynamic on that side. Wasn't a killer in this attack. Everything else went well. So even with a single mistake, you can still pretty much recover from this attack relatively well. So I had the Archer Queen working on the top side to get rid of the balloons and the baby dragon, which all worked out great. The next thing is going to be the Barbarian King. Now, the Barbarian King is a little bit interesting here, and you might want to make sure you understand your troop composition before you actually do it. There are a lot of defenses right around this area, so I released my Barbarian King right here. One thing that I didn't mention on this top side, I used 2 wall breakers right here in order to break the Archer Queen into the wall. Same thing over here. I used 2 wall breakers in order to break into the wall here. And these are a little bit lower defensive walls. So if you have a little bit higher defense, you may need 3 here. So make sure you kind of watch that. But I used the wall breakers to break in here and sent my BK, my Barbarian King, on this side. Now here's the issue. There is a mortar. There are 2 archer towers. There is a crossbow. There is a cannon. There are a lot of defenses right here. If you have a high-level Barbarian King, you may be able to survive this by using his rage, getting him that little bit of a heal, a few wizards behind him, which I did use in my attack. So in addition to the Barbarian King, there were some wizards that I put in here. And you always want to kind of have the wizards go behind the Barbarian King to kind of help clear out some of those things. The issue was that all of these defenses being over here, and again, I really wanted to make sure I got the 2-star. That 1 golem that I would normally release over here, I actually released it with the Barbarian King. So you'll see that the golem actually goes into the gap that the wall breakers make as well. And by having the golem there, it's kind of spreading out the damage. So the golem goes in first and starts eating a lot of damage. The Barbarian King goes in after him, starts clearing out a lot of this area. And so by the time that I'm ready to kind of zerg the middle here, the golem has split into 2, but this area is somewhat gone. This area is somewhat gone by the Archer Queen, and now you can see how you have that lane that you were expecting. And so I was able to penetrate right through here. Now, without the golem, I'm not eating up any of these defenses that are right here. So if the wall breakers try and come into the spot, chances are my wall breakers are going to die. So what I did first was actually release my Valkyries. So I released 1 wave of Valkyries at these 2 spots, and then released the wall breakers right down the middle. So right here, I released the wall breakers. Okay. So once the wall breakers broke in here, then all of my Valkyries came right through. And so you'll be able to watch the Valkyries start here, break in here. Start here, and then break through here. And they follow, and then they start destroying this layer, and this layer. And where you want to place the jump spell is obviously right here. Now, this was one mistake. Another mistake that I made, again, not a deadly mistake, but it could have helped me. The best place to position the jump spell would have been right here, which would overlap this compartment with the crossbow and this compartment with the Inferno. However, again, in haste, as trying to get this attack done and trying to make sure I got the 2-star, I placed the jump spell right over the Inferno alone. So this crossbow kept on attacking, really without any problems, because there was nothing really attacking it. The wizards from the Barbarian King side were more distracted with this bottom layer, so the wizards were all kind of attacking down here and following behind the Barbarian King, so there was really nothing really attacking this. And because I wanted to make sure that I got to this town hall, I didn't really use bowlers in this attack either. This was mainly a very heavy Valkyrie attack in order to try and push directly into the center here. Okay, so I pushed the Valkyries here. They killed the Inferno Tower. They pushed in here, put a rage spell here in order to kind of get them going. There was a heal. You could use a heal spell, but in this particular case, I'd rather use a double freeze. Again, trying to ensure that I had the actual 2-star. And so you would see that one I used towards the end down here. And the other one would be up towards the top. And the other one is kind of based on whatever you feel is necessary for your attack. When you're trying to ensure a 2-star rather than pushing for the 3-star, you really want to play it safe. You could use an extra free spell. You could use a healing spell potentially, but with this multi-level, with this multi-targeting Inferno up here, it's really not going to be the best target. And so you'll see that my attack basically went as planned. I had a couple of little mistakes with the lack of one healer being, or 2 healers being released, and the jump spell being a little off place. But my Valkyries pushed down into the middle. I was able to get the Town Hall. My Barbarian King had to be supplemented with the Golem because he's not high enough level right now in order to kind of clear off a side with this many defenses on his own yet. So this is going to be a 2-star attack on this base with a few kind of accommodations based on the difficulty and what was needed in the war. So here's the attack for this base. Alright, so I hope you all enjoyed these videos of the attacks that I've had on ring bases. I'm still working on trying to improve myself, so definitely you guys can watch and you might see my progression in this game as well. Hopefully this helped you guys with some of these attacks. Sometimes the first goal is to always try and get the 2 stars and never, maybe it's a little difficult to get the 3 stars, especially if you just became a Town Hall 10. So I'll try and make more of these videos. Please comment on the video if you liked what you saw, and if you guys have any other suggestions for this particular video and other Clash of Clans videos. This is a series for Finity's ADD Gaming, so if there's any other games that you guys would like to see, let me know. I'll try to kind of switch it around. I can tell you that some of the other games that I'll be probably playing soon will be Minecraft and World of Warcraft. So as those come out, please make sure that you subscribe so you guys can get updates on that. If you're interested in playing Clash of Clans, go ahead and either put a comment here, or you can go ahead and find us. We are the Z Fighters. It is an homage to Dragon Ball Z, so there's a lot of dorkiness going on here. We're a level 9 clan. We pretty much raid 2 to 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and on Fridays are the start days. We're growing and trying to get more people involved, so definitely if you guys are interested, please go ahead and let me know. You guys can just apply also. We're set to invite right now. We may close it off during our wars though, just to make sure we don't have any people cheating and joining us. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave some feedback, comments. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. And otherwise, I'll see you guys next time.